Hi, my name is Jamie Burden, and I am going to read you a story today. That story is called The Little Red Fort. And that reminds me, I am in my own fort that I made so that I can read this story to you while in the fort. So, if you can, you should make your own fort and listen to this story while you're in your fort. Some examples of how to make a fort is you can be on your bed sitting and put a blanket over your head, or you can put some chairs in a circle and put a blanket over that. Those are just a couple of examples on how you can make a fort if you can. So before I start reading, I want to go over some vocabulary words that are in the book, but you might not know. So the first word is clutched, and that means that they just held on to their sides. And the next word is howled. Now, I know that you know the word howl by a wolf howling or a dog howling, but in the book, the boys howl with laughter. And that means that they just laughed really hard and really loud. The next word is satisfied. And that just means that the person is really happy with what they did. The last word is huddled. And that means that a group of people just gather around in a circle and they talk about something. So I'm going to share my screen so that you can see the story. All right. Whoops, let me start from the beginning. Oh no. Okay. So The Little Red Fort is by Brenda Mayer, and the pictures are by Sonia Sanchez. The Little Red Fort. Ruby's mind was always full of ideas. I wonder what she's thinking. One day she found some old boards. Who wants to help me build something? She asked her brothers. I wonder if they're gonna want to help her. Oscar Lee pretended not to hear her. Rodrigo gave her a look that could melt popsicles. Jose almost fell off the fence. You don't know how to build anything, they said. Ruby shrugged. Then I'll learn. Oh my, they don't think that she can make this. And she did. Who wants to help me draw the plans? Ruby asked. The boys clutched their sides and howled with laughter. Not me, said Oscar Lee. I don't think so, said Rodrigo. No way, said Jose. I'm too busy. Fine, said Ruby. I'll draw them myself. Is she gonna draw them? And she did. Satisfied with her plans, Ruby asked, Who wants to help me gather the supplies? Not me, said Oscar Lee. I don't think so, said Rodrigo. No way, said Jose. I'm too busy. Fine, said Ruby. I'll gather them myself. They really don't want to help her. And she did. When all the supplies were gathered, Ruby asked, Who wants to help me cut the boards? Not me, said Oscar Lee. I don't think so, said Rodrigo. No way, said Jose. I'm too busy. Fine, said Ruby. I'll cut them myself. Will she be able to cut them by herself? And she did. It looks like her mom came to help her cut the boards. When all the boards were neatly cut, Ruby sang, Who wants to help me hammer in the nails? Not me, said Oscar Lee. I don't think so, said Rodrigo. No way, said Jose. I'm too busy. Fine, said Ruby. I'll hammer them myself. And she did. This time, Grandma is helping her. Soon, Ruby's creation was complete. Who wants to play in my fort? She called. Me, said Oscar Lee. Let's go, said Rodrigo. I'll play, said Jose. I'm not busy anymore. Oh, so they want to play now that Ruby's fort is done. Not so fast, Ruby said. You didn't help me draw the plans or gather the supplies or cut the boards or hammer the nails. You said I didn't know how to build, and you laughed at me. I'm going to play in the fort by myself. They didn't help her, so she just wants to play alone. And she did. We didn't want to play anyway, the boys said. But they did. What are they gonna do? So they huddled, whispered, and got straight to work. Oscar Lee made a mailbox. Rodrigo planted flowers. Jose painted the fort fire engine red. Ruby was delighted. They helped her. I wonder if she'll let them play. That evening, the boys followed a delicious aroma to a fort warming party. Who wants to help me clean this plate? Ruby asked. We do, the boys said. They smelt the cookies and they wanted to come into the fort and eat the cookies. And they did. At the end of the story, it showed how to build your own fort. And you can build a sofa fort, a kitchen chair fort. In the winter, you could do a snow fort, or you can even do a bunk bed fort. That was the story of the Little Red Fort. Now I'm going to show you a few items. And when I show you these items, you have to tell me if that specific item starts with the F or the F sound. If it does, I will have it in the fort. If not, then it will be left out of the fort. So the first one, let's see. A fork. What do you think? Does a fork start with the sound? Yes, that is great. A fork does start with the sound. The next one are flip-flops. Do flip-flops start with a sound? What do you think? Yes, they do. Flip-flop starts with the Okay, what about a dog? Does a dog start with a sound? No, you're right. Okay, and the next one is a fan. Does a fan start with the sound? Yes, it does. A fan starts with the sound. Okay, what about a piano? Piano. That does not start with the sound. Okay, and now a board. Does a board start with the sound? No, it doesn't. A board does not start with the sound. A flower. Does a flower start with a sound? Yes, a flower does start with a f sound. Okay, and a hammer. Does a hammer start with a f sound? I don't think so. It does not. Shoes. Let's see. Do shoes start with the f sound? No, shoes do not start with the sound. And the last one is a fort. Does a fort start with the sound? Yes, it does. Great. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. All right. So now that we've gone through every item, the items that are in my fort are a fork, because a fork starts with the f sound. What else do I have in my fort? I got a flip-flop. That does start with the f sound. And lastly, I have flowers, because flowers do start with the f sound. Now, you should bring your own items that start with the f sound and put them in your fort. I hope you enjoyed the little red fort, and I will see you next time. Bye.